to
This
show on the road.
conference will now be recorded.
All right. So anyway, how was your holiday, Robert?
It was real good, quiet. It was very busy from a business perspective. November and December were nuts, but we didn't do any traveling or anything like that with this COVID stuff going around.
Yeah, just kind of stay put and
Yep.
do your thing. So cool, cool. So have you joined us before, Gene? Is this your first foray into our webinar?
This is my first coming to the webinar. I think I've watched, well, probably all of them 2 or 3 times on YouTube. I watched
Gotcha.
most of Robert's videos. But yeah, I just placed my order for my machine last week, wired the money, got all the money wired in, and I'm just kind of waiting out now. I'm the one that talked to you last weekend.
Okay, okay. That's right. That's right. Well, good. I'm glad you joined us. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hey, Brian. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Did you have a good holiday?
Yeah, real nice. Wish COVID wasn't around because we couldn't get together with the family, but that's no different than anybody. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for what it was, I hope you had a good one for what it's worth. So,
yeah, thanks. Hey, Robert.
Hey, how you doing, Mark?
so, and Ron, good to see you on here again.
Yep, still waiting.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, I think Gene's the newest. Do you have anything on your mind that you want to talk about or any questions or anything?
Not right off the top of my head. I've been researching this for about 8 months, I guess. Like I said, I think I've watched all of Robert's videos, and I've watched all of these conferences at least twice.
Yeah.
A lot of the questions that I have had was answered through those in most cases. So I think right now I'm pretty
What
good.
machine are you
That's
gonna
something
have,
I can.
Gene?
I'm getting a 3580.
Wait,
Okay.
what are you
Yeah,
thinking about making with it?
Well, what I've got now, I've got a Chinese machine. We bought a Chinese machine about 3 months ago, 3.5 months ago. A little 50 watt that turned out to be a 40 watt. And we've been doing a lot of Christmas ornaments. I make this, it looks like a needle or a syringe, but the center of it's cut out and you put one of those little mini liquor bottles in it. And it's got little clips that hold the liquor bottle in, and that's labeled up as my COVID vaccine. And I've got, it'll hold, I don't know, 10 or 12. I've got 10 or 12 versions of it, depending on the shape of the bottle. But we do a lot of those. I'm getting into some signs and some wall art. My machine will only do, 12 by 20. So we've done some really nice mandalas, whatever they're called, that's been framed and painted and glittered and whatnot. But stuff like that, little signs. I'm starting to get into some acrylic, which I'm really enjoying. The light up acrylic signs or whatever. But we're having a good old time. We paid for that little Chinese machine real quick, and we've with both of us looking at retirement, this is our supplemental retirement. And a way to supplement the retirement and have some fun at the same time.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm familiar with those 50 watt machines, a step up from the K40 because they got all the upgrades pretty much already in them. But yeah, if you've already had fun with that thing, you just wait. You're gonna love it. There's quite a few people that have come from those machines, and I had a bunch of K40s before I got into the Thunders too. So it'll be a whole different world. You'll be amazed when you see the difference. So
I'm real excited about it. This whole thing is the whole adventure of the lasers has been a lot of fun. I started off with, I've been working with wood my whole life, and then a few years ago I bought a lathe and started doing a lot of stuff with that. And my next progression was the lasers, and it took me 8 months to research it, but finally pulled the trigger and did it right.
Good. Well, you're going to be pleased, I'm sure. And you already have a good head start because I'm pretty sure that machine's got a Ruida in it. So you probably already using Lightburn. So
Yes, everything I do
Okay.
in Lightburn.
okay. So yeah, you'll be right out of the gate. You'll be ready to go. So you probably won't even have to look at the manual. You just take it out of the box, throw it together, and run a job.
Fire it up. Start making money with it. The first hour you got it.
I would have probably done that if I hadn't got a head start on it, because it's just the way I am. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I've never had to spend this kind of money and wait 3 months to play with it, but it's going to be worth it, I'm sure. I mean, no doubt it's going to be worth every minute of it.
Hey, Gene, I see you're sitting there with a seatbelt on. You're not driving, are you?
No, I'm actually sitting in a parking lot. Just no, I don't drive when I'm on the phone or anything like that. I don't do it for safety reasons, but my company also has a policy against it. So this is just a much safer way of doing it.
Cool. All right, Jeremy, good to see you. And
Hey, Happy
awesome,
New Year,
glad you
everyone.
joined us. And
Well, Happy
Jason, I
New Year,
hollered at you a
everybody.
minute ago. Thought I'd just say hey to everybody real quick. I see Christina might be new, and I think Dan, have you been on before? Okay, awesome. Yeah, unmute and we'll let you introduce yourself for a minute if you like, and you'll have to find the unmute thing. I can mute you, but I can't unmute you. I don't think. There
Were
we
you
go.
talking to me?
So,
Yeah. Hi, I'm Dan. I've been trying to make time to join one of these things. I'm sure I figured there'd be some good info, but like the rest of you, I think that has a one person shop. You're scrambling to just get everything else done. So I'm glad I made a resolution this year to spend a bit more time on education relating to this, whether it be about the machine or design or whatever. And I figured this was a good way to start expanding my stuff. I've had my Thunder for a while. I took possession of it in August of 2016. You talked about a moment ago about just plugging it in and going. Well, that's exactly what I did. The quality control maybe was not quite what it is now then, because the air assist was completely blocked off. And so the first time I tried using it, it set my whole nozzle on fire. And I had no idea, what the heck was going on. I had to do a video chat with Ben from Thunder Laser in the middle of the night, of course, because the time difference. Anyway, I've had it for 4 years. I've been, I do a lot of custom stuff. This was a midlife crisis for me. I used to be a corporate executive that I got paid well, but just was miserable and empty on the inside. So I gave it all up, and I'm doing this. So I try to focus on things that give me some good feelings, as well as whoever it is I'm building it for. I'm finding after this last Christmas, with the wild success of that fuck snowflake. Sorry for the language if that offends any of you. With that wild, which I never would have touched in the past, but the success of that snowflake has made me go, okay, I need to maybe balance it between stuff that I really love and stuff that I know is going to sell, and hopefully I'll stop being so poor. I'm outside. I'm about an hour away from Seattle. I'm on the west side of the Puget Sound, and yeah, I'll shut up and let someone else talk.
awesome. Well, I'm glad you could join us. So it's refreshing to see somebody with, like Awesome. He's had his machine for what, 5 years or so. And so it's good to see feedback from those as well, so that we can just see that they're, I guess, tanks is the best word to describe it. So,
well, the solid machine. It's the I don't know if I'm blocked still, but I've noticed massively the guys in China, Ben, and I think there might have been another fella, always tried really hard, which I appreciated. But the support levels ever since you've kind of stood up your thing down there in Texas, and leaps and bounds. The people who are getting their machines these days, I hate to sound like back in my day, but back in my day, it was a lot tougher. So the folks who are picking up their machines now, they should all be very grateful with the level of support in the community that you've built. So hats off in your work for doing that. You and all of the rest of you, I know, are very vocal on the various forums. So Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. The whole community is awesome. The whole Thunder team is great, and the vendors. So I'm real pleased and happy to be a part of it. So that's cool. Hey Jason, how you doing? All right, hanging in there.
Doing
Are you
good,
busy?
doing good, staying busy.
Good,
How you
good.
doing?
Can't ask for any more. So all right, man.
Hey,
Jeremy,
Jason,
good to see you.
I have a question
Yeah.
for you. I put a rolling pin on the rollers and you said, to help hold it down, put a rubber band around it. I did that, and the rubber band actually contacts the rollers at a little bit of a different diameter because of the O-ring that's on there. And so the rollers and the rubber band aren't really turning at the same rate of speed, and consequently it took the rolling pin off the rollers. And I was wondering, how do you deal with that?
Are you taking the rollers apart? Like you're
No,
taking the ends of the rolling pin out? Or
no, no. I'm just putting the rolling pin on the rollers, and then
no.
taking a rubber band and putting it around the rolling pin and the rollers, so it makes one loop all the way around.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is the friction of the rubber band bunch up, and that's where you're getting your inconsistency of rolling.
Yeah,
What I recommend is if you have something that you typically would use, you can get actual rubber O-rings, um, that you can use for your different size rolling pins and things like that. Because I mean, as of right now, there's no heavy demand for something like that to be able to engineer something that would function for that purpose. Would take some time, but in the interim, like I've told Brian before with other things, if you have some really odd objects or something that you can't clamp down or something, you use the O-rings. Rubber band's a good idea, but like you said, in your case, it's causing the rotation to be off, and that's because the rubber band is bunching. Can you hear me?
yeah, it's turning at a little
Oh,
different rate.
yeah, yeah, because the rubber band, the leading edge and the trailing edge of the rubber band over the rolling pin are basically going two different speeds because of pulling and pushing. Um, and that's probably what's throwing you off. But if you have a O-ring, like a silicon O-ring that can kind of stretch a little bit, um, that's typically would be the best way to go about that.
Okay.
I mean, I can see what I can do, but like I said, there's so many variables and rolling pins and whatnot that to come up with something universal enough to work with that would be not a
No,
challenge, but it's
I
not
don't think
it's
it's
not.
necessary. I think it's just something that I have to work on, and it, I
Now,
really have a lot of demand for that anyway. I was just, it was more of an academic question.
yeah, now the easiest thing to do right off would be just to go ahead and turn down your jerk and acceleration settings in Lightburn. So when it does go to move and rotate from position to position, it's not so fast. That way it'll keep it from slipping on the rollers. Cause I'm assuming that's what the problem you're having, right?
No, actually, it wasn't slipping, and honestly, I did not try it without a rubber band. But what's happening here is the rolling pin is sitting on the O-rings, and the
Yep.
rubber band is sitting on the plastic wheel that holds the O-rings. So it's at a slightly different diameter than what the rolling pin is sitting on.
So why is the rubber band not on the wheels and the rolling pin?
It is, but the rolling pin is sitting on the O-ring on the wheel.
Yeah.
Like I like this picture he brought up.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
sitting in between
sitting
the
on,
rubber band or the
on the orange,
O-rings.
and the rubber band is sitting on the metal below the orange. So it's a little bit. It's sitting on a little
Yeah.
different diameter.
Yeah, I get what you're saying
Uh,
now.
Yeah.
You know,
But if
I would try it without the rubber band and see. But if it does slip, could you take something like a silicone, like a what are those gloves made out of?
silicon,
Let me stop sharing this. You know, you could put a glove on the end that would be tight,
you
like a nitrile glove or something. If you could stretch that around the ends of the rolling pin, just where
well,
they make contact,
you
and
could
it
just
would
get
Oh,
one
give
of
you a better
those.
surface.
You could just get one
I,
of those like those silicone friendship bracelets that people wear. Those like half-inch thick
yeah.
or half-inch
put one
wide
on each end.
bracelets. Throw it on each end. That way you have
Yeah,
a good
good traction.
contact surface on either
Yeah.
side. Because
Yeah.
the rolling pins, I mean, they can be pretty slippery, and
Hmm.
if there's dust on the wheels or what have you, it can cause that too. But that would probably be the easiest way, honestly, is to get a couple of those silicone wristbands and put them on the ends.
Cool. All right.
And you got a
Um,
crowd today, Brian.
yeah, I know. Ken looks like he might be new. I've seen Christina pop on here. I don't know if anybody wants to jump in. Just fire
Hey,
away.
yep. Hey guys, I'm Christina Calimano. I'm new to Thunder. I've had
Good.
a glow. So hello, and I'm in your group, and you guys are so full of wealth and information, and very, very good with your support and feedback. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Thank you.
currently have I'm a hobbyist. I currently have a Glowforge Pro. I've had it for about 2 years. I'm out of warranty, of course. I've cut the bottom out of mine. I took the inline fan, the exhaust fan off. I do have an inline fan connected to it, yada, yada, yada. But
Hmm.
I'm super, super excited because I did order my Thunder 35. It's scheduled to come in May. But hopefully it'll be like a month early or something. I see a lot of people getting their machines earlier than what they were initially quoted. But in any event, I am scheduled to get it in May. So, of course, I'm going to have a lot of questions and so forth. So I
Sure.
appreciate your patience, even if I
Not
ask the same thing 20 times, right, Jason? Jason, you and I have communicated via Messenger on Facebook
so. Did
about
you have any?
what was I asking for? I was asking about oh, shoot, the Rotobus and so
Mhm.
forth. So,
Sure. So, do you have any questions right now, or you just kind of
no.
hanging out and wanting to see what everything's about?
Yeah, just well, you know what? I do have a question. So I've read
Okay.
online, through your groups and so forth, that everything that comes stocked with the machine is good
Hmm.
enough, to start, right? Just to gauge and see if you need to make any adjustments based on your needs and blah, 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 or your use.
Right.
Um, so my initial question could be, I do have a 6-inch inline fan.
Hmm.
If I was going to put that on the Thunder, is that good enough? I see a lot of people have an 8.
Well, I have a 6, and
Mm,
I think I mean, it's fine for me. Matter of fact, there's my S6 right there.
Okay, let
So
me
I've
see.
got an S6
Okay.
on mine, and it's fine for what I do. Now, they don't spool up as quickly as those Capstart, centrifugal fans, because
Hmm.
these axial inline fans have little DC motors in them. So it takes them a little while to spool up. So at the very beginning, I do have some residual smoke that kind of hangs out for the
Okay.
first 5 or 10
Hmm.
seconds, and then after
Hmm.
that, once it's up to full speed, it evacuates plenty fine for a Nova
Yeah,
35.
it pulls it.
But now Yeah, but now going up to the 8, there's a pretty significant increase in CFMs, and that
Mhm.
also equates to evacuating that smoke initially even faster. But
But
I haven't had
even
any issues with mine, so I
okay.
would use what you got first, and pop that in there, and then you can go from there.
So even with the 8, there's still
Hmm.
that delay. I mean, it's stronger to blow it out quicker, but there's still that initial delay that
Right,
doesn't eliminate that, right?
right. All of those fans,
Okay.
axial fans, will have a little bit of a delay, just while they
Yeah.
spool up to speed, but it's not significant enough to usually cause a problem. So.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Um, I guess that's all my questions right now. I'm just hanging out
Okay.
here. That's all.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. So,
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any? I see Becca. I don't know if she's been on before, and I see Ken. If anybody has anything, feel free to jump on in.
Hey, this is Ken.
Hey.
Good afternoon, guys. I've been kind of watching you guys last few weeks. I ordered a Nova 35-100 just right at the end of the year. I think I'm like
Cool.
the rest of us, waiting until May to get this thing.
Right.
And kind of was looking kind of the same question I think Christina was just talking about around exhaust and air.
Mhm.
Obviously was planning on using with what comes with the machine, but I mean, just based on what you guys have learned and know, I mean, you know, what things should I be looking at, you know, possibly to upgrade? You know, I was looking at some of the air compressors and some of the exhaust and,
Yeah.
you know,
The biggest deal on this fan, the one that'll come with your machine, will be this. And I don't know if you can see the screen or not. I don't know how you're connected, but that's the one that'll come with, and it moves about 480 CFMs, and they're just a little bit loud. You know, it's got about a quarter horse cap start motor on it, and that centrifugal fan is kind of loud. That's actually kind of the same design that they make with some modifications that they put on the front of those big Q sirens on the front of fire trucks. It's not that loud, but it's close. But a lot of people do go with that other one just because of the noise. And I do have an article in here somewhere about noise.
Yeah, I saw the video that you did where you had the noise
Yeah.
of the laser, but what I wasn't for sure is if that was with your inline fan or was that with that big centrifugal fan? I couldn't remember.
The first one is with the inline fan. I'm sorry, the factory. This one's all stock. This very first video, and the second one is with the California air compressor as well as the AC Infinity. And I didn't do a good job of splitting those, I don't think, to test them individually. But still, even with them both run together, it's quieter than that one fan. So it makes a pretty good difference. But yeah, the stock stuff is fine. You know, I just had to, my laser's about 3 feet away from me, and I can't talk on the phone with it running, you know, with that stock fan. So.
Well, I really didn't want to have to wear earplugs the whole time it was running either if it's, you know, that loud. So
I don't know if it's that loud. I wouldn't wear them around it, but it may, you know, it may be. Now, some people mount them outside. I think Clay mounts his outside. And I have heard from somebody else that's in the agricultural field, you know, they do silos and grain, you know, conveyance equipment and that kind of thing. They use those same blowers and they mount them on little concrete pads outside in the weather and run them. And that's what Clay does. He doesn't even cover it up. So you could actually mount it on the outside if you wanted to, on the exterior wall, so that you don't hear it.
Is that blower IP67 rated then?
I don't think so. I wouldn't. I wouldn't know. You know, whether it's meant to do that or not, I don't know. But people are doing it.
Okay. All right. Understand.
So
what are people using?
It's IP44 rated, just so you're aware. I'm looking at it now.
Okay. So
what are people using who have gone to the inline fan? I started with the stock, went to an inline fan, and of course loved the noise reduction, and then I gummed it up, and then I tried taking it apart and giving it a good clean, but I kind of broke it in the process. Now I'm back in the fan. So the person who was I mean, it's noisy and it's annoying, but you know, I don't wear earplugs or anything. In fact, I had it on in the beginning of this call, but I've just shut it off. But do people do like some sort of filter box before it leads into how do they stop these inline fans from getting gummed up?
We've seen that a couple of people, or at least one recently, that built a pre-filter box to help, you know, mitigate that stuff that gets into the fan.
And do
I
any
haven't tried it. I don't.
Do you have any issue with residue building up?
Well, see, no, because I run my laser about an hour a week. I don't have time to run it.
You're busy responding to messages from us.
Right. So
I've cleaned my inline fan. I have the 6, like I said, and again, right, I'm currently on a Glowforge, and I took it apart. I took it apart and cleaned it, and it was such a breeze. to clean that thing. And then, comparatively speaking with cleaning, the little inline fan in the Glowforge, that's a nightmare. But
Mhm.
again, speaking out of ignorance, right? I wouldn't even contemplate building some kind of box. Again, I'm not a very, very heavy user yet. But my point is that if I was able to take that thing apart with no problem, I followed a video, it was a piece of cake to clean, and to clean thoroughly.
Yeah, but mine
Robert,
was the same. When I put it back together, it just wasn't. It was done. I obviously screwed something up, and so I'm glad you had better luck than I did.
Yeah, put it back together. I even put some black duct or wiring tape around the seams. I mean, it's incredible.
Huh.
I'm really, I like the effectiveness of the inline fan all around.
Robert, which fan do you have? You did a video of
Yeah,
taking yours apart.
yeah, that's the inline fan that comes with the Nova 24. It's a little different than the 35s and bigger, but
Okay.
it's I think the Infinities are almost identical to the one that is in the video that I did, and they're a piece of cake to take apart and clean.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so if you guys don't have a problem with that, it sounds like I don't need to worry about the filter. Just maybe don't wait 2 years before I clean the damn thing.
I think Robert said once a month, was it?
Well, it just depends on
I'm a little off on that.
it depends on how much you use it. But if you're doing a lot of cutting, I try to do it every month or two at least. I was what you saw in that video was about 45 days worth of use, and it wasn't bad, but it's just so sticky and gummy in there that it really slows down the airflow. And even though it doesn't look that bad, I was shocked by the time I got that fan cleaned up and reinstalled on how much better the system worked in general just from the smoke evacuation. So it does matter.
So that video.
Were your vents visibly clogged up when you did that?
No, I took I also took the hoses out and blew them out just to see how they were. And yeah, there's soot, but not bad at all. Of course, I have a real short run. I mean, my run from where it comes out of my laser to where it goes outside is probably about 5 or 6 feet.
Yeah, I made a modification on the vents. I haven't shared this with anybody yet because I don't want anybody to yell at me for doing it, but I'll see if I can share this with you here. Can you see that?
Nope.
Not, cannot see that?
I may have to give you permission to present. Hang on just a second. There we go. I made you presenter, so you should be able to show some stuff.
Okay.
There we go.
Let's see here. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I took the stock vent plate off the back of the laser and I put this 1/8" wire cloth screen over it. It increased the effective area significantly, and it stops the little dinky pieces from getting sucked up in there through those larger vent slats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real easy to see if it's getting clogged up. So you can just take a vacuum with a brush and brush it off. And I would imagine if it starts to get significantly dirty, then that'd be a clue that you better take the fan apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more surface area to catch the soot too.
Yep.
Yeah.
What size is that mesh, Mark?
That's 1/8".
Okay.
You'd probably do a 1/8" and then cross hatch it to
Yeah.
get even more surface area out of it.
And now I don't know how to get back to my other screen here. Oh.
Hit the stop. I can unmake you presenter, I think. Let's see.
Oh, here. No, and that's
Did you find
leaving.
There should just be a stop. I'm trying to see where it is. It'll be on your screen. It'll look like a play. I think it'll have a little drop down that'll look like play, start, and stop. Maybe I have to take it back. Send webcam request. No.
Or maybe if he clicks on those 3 dots right there, maybe that's a drop down.
It looks like let's see.
I don't know
Man,
whose screen is that, but
Oh, stop
that
sharing screen. I got it. All right.
There we go. So that's okay. I've left that on the entire time before and didn't realize it. So,
So someone showed a video right now, you guys. Somebody showed a video or a picture of the fan that was full of gunk. Was that a visual of the stock fan or
that
somebody's?
was,
Yep.
and if you'll look, I'll paste it in the chat right now so you can have that to look at if you want.
All right. So is the stock fan difficult to clean or not? Not really difficult to clean. My question is more, is it difficult to get to clean?
No,
Okay. Like the Glowforge is a nightmare. So
no,
it's not,
these,
it's accessible.
I've just got
Wherever
mine.
you
Well,
put it.
when I had my stock fan, yeah, wherever you put it, I just had mine sitting behind the machine, on a piece of foam. It wasn't even
Oh,
attached to anything.
is the stock fan an external piece? I thought it was inside. Oh, okay.
We don't,
It's like-
yeah, it's external. All of our stuff is external,
Oh,
which
okay.
I kind of like because Glowforge and
Yeah.
Aeon and some of those have all of their chillers and or radiators, whatever they are, all built into the
Mm-hmm.
machine, which is great until something breaks. That you
Mm-hmm.
can't go buy an off-the-shelf fan, off Amazon, or a chiller off Amazon or anything and be able to swap it out in 5 minutes. You'd have to take the whole machine apart. So I kind of actually like having these external components because you can swap them out in minutes and be back and running. So
Yeah, I would agree. What else is external? So I know the chiller, and now I know the fan. Is there anything else?
The air pump.
the air assist pump.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I've taken that
And
out of my Glowforge as well and cleaned it, and the belt, and it's a nightmare.
yeah, and we've got an article on the included parts. Let's see.
Okay.
There it is. And it goes through, there's a little video, and then there's also in this document, it should be showing up. Let me know if you can't see it. It may take a minute to populate. It shows everything that used to come with the machine. And I don't know if it's got, yeah, there's the air pump, there's the chiller,
Okay.
and there's the fan. It
Yeah.
comes with 2-section of hose, some switches and some other things. So, but that's what
Okay.
your air pump will look like.
All
And
right.
I do have documentation on the air pump as well.
Okay.
I believe it's a 580 watt. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, 135. It's 120 liters a minute, but it's maximum about 2 psi. So that's where you may gain some benefit if you do a lot of thick cutting, with an external air.
Mhm. Okay.
One other thing you might want to grab before you get your machine is a couple of extra 6-inch hose clamps. A lot of folks are getting only 3 out of 4, so they're one short and they can't hook up their machine.
Yeah, mine came that way.
Okay.
Yep.
About 2
Okay.
years ago. So yeah, you might need one extra 6-inch hose clamp, and I think I mentioned that somewhere in there, but I might have taken it out because I thought they had fixed that. But
I
So a
just talked to
total of
somebody
4.
yesterday that had that, so
So I'll need a total of 4, but it comes with 3.
right.
correct.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. And
I
I
guess they
think,
don't
Mark,
include
I
the one for
ordered.
the external because they don't know what you're going to do to exhaust it. So maybe they
Okay.
don't for that.
Hang it out a window if you have to.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Mark,
And
and I think, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say on that air pump thing, there's also a video I found on how to take one of those apart and rebuild it, or at least have a look at it if anybody wants to do that. If they're using the stock pump, you can take them apart. Some of it's user serviceable. But,
Okay. Mark, I was going to say, I think you may be what's your last name? Is it with a Z?
Lazars.
Yeah, I think I ordered the little wrenchy thing for the
Yeah.
camera from you. Yeah, so I'm waiting
Did
to
you get
get
it?
that. So I am, no, not yet. So, I am starting to gather little trinkets, if you will, in anticipation of, getting my machine.
What is the recommendation on the inline then? Is there for a 35?
You lost your sound.
Brian, you're muted.
Yeah. Uh,
There you go.
most everybody's going with the AC Infinity cloud line, and you know, they are quiet. There's other ones out there. There's Vivo Sun. There's a bunch of stuff on Amazon. I think as long as you get your CFMs in the right place, you know, it depends on if you want super ultra quiet, you know, because some of those fans are $200, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's
So
nice
there's
to
other
use one
options
that
out
a
there.
lot of the other folks are using this. So if you have a problem, others might be able to help. So
Yeah.
AC Infinity Cloud Line.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now I've had good luck out of mine, and I've seen a few people say they burnt one up. I assume their customer support's pretty good. It's hydroponics, it's pot growing stuff, you
Yeah.
know, so I'm sure they probably have pretty good support here in the US. So
That's how I got my first in line. I'm in Washington State, and you can grow it here. And I got a buddy who grows. He's like, you should check out my fan. And there you go. In-line fans.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, quick
I got
question
a couple of
on
them I got
the
to unbox here one day.
on the fan, with the controller that's on there, with the speed controller. So see, like on the S8 with just the speed controller, and then there's the T8 that's got the temperature, humidity control and stuff. How does that work with the smart board in terms of switching on and off? Does it switch
So-
on and you have to adjust the speed, or is it got a default speed you set? Or
Yeah, so when I plugged mine in, I put it on the laser, and when I fired the laser up the first time to do a job, it never cut on, and that's because I guess it didn't, you know, it's probably got a cap or something in it that stores that for a while, you know, whatever your setting is in that controller when it's powered down. But as soon as I turned it on and got it up to the speed range that I wanted, then it worked normally after that, and it would just cut on and off with the machine. So once you set that what I tell people to do now is plug it into the wall first and set it up to max power or whatever, and then unplug it and then integrate it into the machine, and then it should take off and work without a hitch.
okay, yeah, because I was looking at that, and then I was looking at some other things. I saw there's a couple of spare outputs on the board as well.
Yeah,
that
there's
aren't
some extra
currently
panels on
used.
There
Yeah,
are.
so I wasn't sure as if I could use that and actually integrate that into a logic circuit to turn on something else or do something else with it if needed. But it sounds like
You
it's
could,
not needed.
absolutely. But the aftermarket fans, even the ones with those digital speed controls, will still work fine with our TL timer board.
Good.
Let's see, and I'll wait on that.
Can we talk about cameras real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I ordered the Lightbird one, I don't know, a couple of months ago. I put it in my machine, and I got annoyed by how challenging it seemed to be to kind of dial it in with the dots. And then it ended up breaking off because of where I mounted it. And then I've been seeing the links about how the Thunder might have some advantages over the Lightburn. So I'm wondering, before I try to fix up the Lightburn, do I just go down the Thunder path?
Well, no, because
Same camera, ain't it?
yeah, it's the same camera. We ordered the Lightburn cameras too. So if you need a mount, we can get you another mount.
Yeah.
Another one printed, and get one of those out to you. And then if you want some help setting it up, now you don't have to do the lens calibration anymore either. Let me, well, I won't pull it up, but on the ThunderCam instructions now, they've added presets in there on Lightburn. So depending on your machine, we've gone down to 2 camera models for all 4 machines to eliminate any complexities. And they're all Mac and Windows compatible now, because we used to have that issue with the Mac compatibility on the 51s. But there's presets in there. You don't have to do that dot thing, because that's the hardest part of the whole process.
Yes.
So for instance, if you had the 8 megapixel wide 110, which is for the 53 or for the Nova 51 and Nova 63, I think, you would just pick that preset and then you don't have to do those dots.
Okay, cool. All right, well,
That's the best part.
to get a new mount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you'll pop in a ticket, I think you've popped a ticket in before. Yeah, tell me about it. That's the fun part, isn't it? I'll see about getting you a mount, and that
Awesome.
way, and
Thank
then
you.
we can set up a time if you want. I'll go through with you, the setup process, and we'll
That'd be
get your
great.
camera.
Thank you.
So sure.
Yeah, I always like, and I've got one of the Lightburn cameras on a little diode desktop in the background, and what I hate is because how I mounted it, I took a piece of aluminum extrusion and made like a little cantilevered arm to hang over it there. You can barely bump the table it's on, and then it doesn't work right, and you got to recalibrate. It's like it was perfect score, and now it doesn't even register anymore, and it's
Yeah.
just
It's pretty sensitive.
it's very sensitive, which is good because it's very accurate when it's set up and working. It's night and day difference, especially on a little 400 watt diode desktop. It's not got the features that the Thunder does. So, instead of making jigs and positioning things, the camera is very helpful. When it's not working, you realize how much you valued it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I could run a laser without a camera. I got so used to it.
I wouldn't know what to do with one if I did.
So out of the box, does it come with a camera mount? I'm kind of making the assumption that it does.
No, all the camera stuff is additional. Are you talking about the machine as it comes?
Yeah, I did. I ordered, like I said, the 35-100, and I did order the camera, but I wasn't thinking about any mounts or anything. I'm assuming that it comes with it.
The Thunder Cam kit does come with the camera, the mount, and some mounting hardware. Some VHB tape and a couple of wire ties and stuff like that. Some adapters.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll come with everything that you need.
Okay.
It's not going to be like your Glowforge or the Odin. So you will actually have to go through the process of installing it. And I think, was it Mark or Robert that put the video up on that?
No, I don't have a camera, so it must have been Robert.
Okay. I think he showed his way of doing it, but I think he's drilling holes. I wouldn't recommend that. I've done it without it.
Well, the
right.
ThunderCam kit comes with the stuff that you need not to drill holes. So we have it adapted to use the UDisc port. So that's really the whole purpose of the camera, is because you have everything together and some documentation on it, and you don't have to cut a hole in your machine to get the wire to come out. So
Okay. All right. I'll do a little homework on that. I'm expecting not to have to drill any holes in anything. Is
No,
that
you
on? Okay.
you don't have to.
All right.
See, and I bought the laser just to drill holes and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting one that drills holes in metal. Got any updates on that? We're still expecting some news maybe later this month.
I'm hoping later this month. They're working on it hard. They want to make sure it's absolutely right before they pull the trigger. And so
What
I'm not
size
gonna fault
is
them
it?
for that. I think it's going to be a 30 watt source to start off. It'll be a
Oh,
full
What is
enclosed
that?
unit. A
What
fiber
is
gal.
that?
A fiber galvo.
So that cuts metals?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
Or deeply etches it. Yeah.
Thin metal.
Thin.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's good for your CO2 is good for the organic and the non-reflective stuff. Your fiber is better for your metals and your polymers and plastics and things.
Brian, you got to get him to do a 2K.
I gotta get them to do one thing at a time.
I need a 2K more than I need a 30.
Yeah, that's well. I think George Formachev is working on a 75 watt YAG or something crazy, some diode laser. He said it's going to cut metal.
I need to cut 3-4 millimeter aluminum.
Well, he said this is going to work on aluminum. That's the hardest thing in the world to cut. It's probably the most reflective and the most heat transmissive. So
Yeah, but cutting 3 or 4 millimeters. I mean, you usually need a 2K or better.
yeah.
Are they
Good
able
luck
to
on that one.
Are they able to do dual head, Brian, or that was only for Fred if they did one for him?
Which one is that? The CO2?
No,
about the
the
Titan
combined
250?
dual and fiber.
I don't know about
I'm thinking of maybe Epilogue. Are we gonna try to something like that?
Epilogue Fusion. You talking about a dual source unit? I don't see a dual source gantry in the works anytime soon, honestly.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing they probably want to get this figured out, the first step of the fiber, and then probably take it from there.
Yeah,
One
the
by one.
fiber's the biggest deal that I can see in the horizon. That's going to be huge, and I can't wait. So,
Yeah, I'm literally trying my best to wait. Considering buying
Well,
one on Amazon that I can get before I get my Thunder CO2 in, but
right.
prefer
So
to
it,
prefer to
hopefully it won't
get a
take
good
much
one.
longer. But as soon as stuff starts rolling out, I'm going to be hollering. So I'm going to let everybody know.
Any update on the software or not yet?
Software for
Controlling the the fiber?
The
I think it's going to be
EasyCAD or
EasyCAD right now because JCZ has that proprietary stuff. I think rumor has it that Ruida has a Galvo controller that they're working on, but it's not ready yet. And then there's another company that makes controllers for fiber Galvos, and they have an open source solution. And Thunder's been talking to them, but I think for right now we're going to go with the EasyCAD and that JCC board, just because it is the most popular, even if it's a big headache.
yeah. Is the Ruida one? Is there thoughts that Lightburn would do something with it? You talked with Jason and the team. Anything about that or?
He's got a fiber, so I know he's trying to work on that, but it's probably a little bit difficult with that EasyCAD stuff in there. But eventually, ultimately, yeah, I would like to see Lightburn run all of our stuff.
Yeah, it's so much easier. But yeah, you've got features that are missing in there now, right, on your PWM and your frequency, things like that aren't currently in there.
Yeah, well, it'll do frequency because it's got RF tube capabilities, so you can change the frequency by layer. Right now, it's just online because when you're doing an engraving, it's pulse width modulated anyway, so it's going to vary. But yeah, I really like that about the fiber, and I just can't wait. I'm just drooling over it. So, and I've seen a picture, so I don't think I can show you the picture, but it's
not while you're recording, at least.
No. Oh yeah. Shh. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, don't get in trouble. So I'm sure something else you can't tell us is have they started coming up with price targets and availability, or is it more going to be like a beta testing, or
they want to have it ready to. I mean, when they deploy it, it's going to be pretty much ready to go. I'm sure there'll be a couple little things we may need to address. I don't know how they're going to handle the beta testing. And as far as the price point goes, I think they said something, but I don't remember what it was. It's going to be more than of course, it's going to be fully enclosed and have all the interlocks and all that stuff. So, it's going to be more like one of the ones you get from Boss or Aeon, or, one of the more industrial units, not one of the 3K, eBay ones. But it's not going to be that much more than any of the other. It'll be competitive with the others for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking at, right? You could go spend $3K on an eBay one. You could go spend, closer to $4 or $5K on like a Omtech or something, and then you could go spend, $80K, real easy as well. So
sure.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm pulling up an email to see if I can.
Hey guys, I have to jump off. So it was great joining you guys, and I'll chat with you guys online.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you for all the information.
You're absolutely welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Fiverr. Well, I can't seem to find it right offhand. Yeah, I'll have to find out. I'll have to see where that stuff is, but hopefully we'll have some more information on it really soon. I'm dying to start putting all the information out there about it. They're getting all the documentation and all that together now. So hopefully as soon as I get my hands on that stuff, I'll have a lot more info. So
good deal.
All right. Anybody else got anything?
I got one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes, I had one question. I don't know if you know the answer. I saw a lot of people were getting machines a month earlier than their anticipated delivery date. Is that the norm, or just a couple of lucky people?
I think that must have gotten lucky. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Typically, the norm is, the logistics companies screw us. That's the way it normally works.
That's what I'm used to. I'm not used to them screwing you by delivering it a month sooner and you weren't ready. I'm used to it a month later and you're waiting on it.
I have seen one or two of those, and I'm not sure exactly, and unless Grant, he was going to join us today, but he had a meeting. I was going to mess with him if he was on here, unless he's telling everybody it's an extra month, That way when it gets here, he's looking like a champ. I doubt that's happening. He's
No, it
usually
was
pretty
overtime
accurate.
that was paid, I think.
Right. So, but yeah, definitely this is the longest lead time we've ever had. Of course, the demand is higher than ever, and there's no end in sight. And we've been told by Thunder China they can keep up with production, and they've been ramping it up every month. Every month.
That's what I was going to ask, is if the demand sustained, they looking at increasing capability and throughput.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Especially if
they've
they're
looked at
introducing
it
new product lines.
Right. So they seem to be staying on top of it. A lot of people are under the impression that we can't get the lasers out of the factory fast enough. And I mean, they're coming out as fast as they make them, but there's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot of QC and stuff that goes on, before they get on. But yeah, they should be able to handle it. So, and I haven't seen a big uptick in failure rates. I've seen some red dot pointers, a higher volume of those, but the sheer number of machines that are out there are going to dictate that all of that is going to see some spikes. But other than that, and a couple of power switches, I haven't seen any QC related or component related failures to speak of, considering how many machines we've been placing. So it's been pretty good.
The question I had is I saw a post on Facebook last night, and somebody was saying that they talked to support and the 24 doesn't have that extension out on the right side anymore. Is that true?
No, the 24 always has that extension. And I updated the documentation in the dimensions article on the site to show the Nova 24 with and without the extension, just so you can get an idea of what the physical dimension of that extension actually is. But they all do have. So what's behind that is the Nova 24 used to be either you could choose a 40 watt or a 60 watt. And so the 60 watt ones had the extension tube because they were longer, and the 40s did not. But now, since we have the Mini 60, which is actually a 40 watt, they don't offer the 40 watt in the Nova 24. So every Nova 24 that ever goes out will have the tube extension on it. In the same way with the Nova 35 100. Those are the only two machines that will have tube extensions.
Can the Nova 24 be juiced to 80 watt or 100 watt?
I'd say so. I think the 80 watt has the same diameter. So it would just stick out farther. You just got to take your box off or make it longer. But yeah, I think you could. Of course, you'd have to put a power supply, at least I'd say an 80 watt power supply. The Nova 35s come with 100 watt power supplies actually, and 90 watt tubes. Oh, and here's something else that I just found out. I saw a picture the other day. We're putting RISI tubes in our Nova 35 80 watt machines now instead of SPT. I'm not sure exactly why, but I like RISI tubes also. SPTs are good, but I think RISIs are just a skosh better. But so they're putting those in. So they're making some changes. They're innovating as they're putting stuff out, So but let's see. That's all I've got. I can't think of anything else. Jason, you got anything?
Not really. Can you hear me? Yeah. No, I've got some updates to the rotaries coming out, which I've talked to you, and I still got to get you your box of goodies.
Oh yeah, that jig too, or that you had the mounting. You had some locator. You were gonna make
the heel plate.
Or something. Was that what you? Yeah,
well,
the heel plate.
Well, the heel plate spacer, and then the template for people that are running the acrylic rotaries now. To do the mod to them for the.
There may not be too many of those. Mine's still acrylic. I meant to order those plates from you, but I've been using that full roto, the Rotoboss now. So I haven't used that many in a little bit. So
yeah, once you got the Rotoboss, I mean, you don't really need anything else. But unfortunately, it doesn't fit in all the machines though. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll make you abreast of that stuff. I mean, it's not a big change, but okay. and I'll try to get your stuff together.
I don't even mind having an article on the knowledge base with like a change log of sorts if you wanted to have something like, or if you have it on your site, whatever information you have that you want me to parallel on our support site, I don't mind doing that. You can just, tell me what you want to put on there and I can make it available, in case they're looking through our archives. So I'll be glad
Yeah,
to
I mean,
do anything.
like I said, it's not really a big change. It's just it's a plate that slides over the heel plate, so that there's not so much of a gap between the wheels and the heel plate. So if you're doing like wine glasses where they have a really thin base, that you can actually put it up there and the heel plate will actually function the way it should.
Instead of it dropping behind it.
Yeah,
instead
I
of
mean,
falling off behind it.
Let's see if I can grab one and show you here. I don't know if my guy's got any. Here we go. Yeah, we got one here I could show you.
Surely you got a Rotoboss laying around there somewhere.
I might have a couple somewhere. I'm not quite sure, but here. So look how pretty. Let me get this out of my way so I can see what I'm doing here. All right, so hold on. There we go. All right, so typically you have the gap between the heel plate and the wheels, right? There's this plate, everything backwards, so it gets rid of that gap that way.
I see.
You flip it over, and you get a little bit bigger of a gap, or you take it out and you got the full gap.
Okay,
so
that's
just
pretty sweet.
something's going out with the new ones right now. But I mean, it's
that'll
something people
retrofit the older ones, so you
Oh,
can
yeah.
offer them. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's something that could be received later. We'll figure that out. But that's really the only addition besides, as you know, the metal plates, and now all of them have the cutout there to fit around the frame so that they don't rotate anymore. Which wasn't a huge issue, but it was becoming a problem, so decided to head that off at the pass, if you will.
Cool. All right. Well,
Hey
it's
Jason, on the Rotoboss, so like the blue components, are you 3D printing those or injection molded, or
what?
On like the blue components, the wheels, the rollers,
all that stuff's printed.
Yep. Is that something that you sell spares, or do you sell the files? Just thinking, if I wanted to make like a bigger roller, or I've got a custom job I need to do to make me a bracket or something like that, is that something that the files are available, or are you keeping that?
No, the files aren't available for any of it. So if you wanted to do something, you'd have to design it and
that's fine.
fit it yourself.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, because if I sold the files to one person, everybody would have it.
Well, yeah, and I wasn't sure if you were in the business of supporting the individual spare bits like that, or just selling the full.
No, I've got spare bits, but the rotaries themselves are warranted for a year. So if anything damaged or broken or any of that stuff, they're covered anyway. So and beyond that, I mean, spares and stuff will be available. They're on the sites.
Okay.
Or case by case basis, but yeah, generally, I mean, within a year, if something goes wrong, it's covered regardless.
All right. One other question around the rotary and the fiber: is the fiber going to have a rotary as an option, or a means to interface with a rotary?
I'm sure it will probably have the means. Whether that will be an option immediately will probably depend whether they want to put a connector on it or not, and source a rotary. But I'd say that would be something that they would definitely want to be able to have, even if they don't launch it initially. So I think that they'd probably make some concessions for those, but I'm sure that'll be a thing.
Well, if I could get one, I could make that happen.
Well, and that's that was going to be my next question: is you planning on introducing the Rotoboss interface and it working with it?
Well, I've already got it working with. Well, the one you see back here, it'll remain nameless, but I got it available to work on that. But the only problem is the driver is set up. It's a driver for a chuck and not a rotary, so the output is not sufficient steps and amperage and stuff like that to properly control it. And plus, with EasyCAD is linear program, so to speak. So if you've ever used fiber, you know kind of what I'm talking about, where it doesn't work well with anything else outside of its kind of core of existence too much. So the controllers are a little bit different. The setup's a little bit different. You got to go in and manipulate a lot of settings, which for the average user is not practical, because it is a lot of finagling the settings in the laser and in Lightburn. But yeah, if I can figure something out, or if we can get a controller that works properly, or a different program, hopefully Veruda will come up with something. If they come out with something for it, then definitely we'll be able to make that happen on the fiber lasers. But as of right now, it's not something that's readily available.
Yeah. So, which that can come. If we'll just get it out here, and then we'll see. Because I don't know what they're going to end up doing on controllers. I would like to. I kind of have a sinking suspicion that they're not going to stick with those JCC boards. I think they're probably going to. I mean, they and Ruida are kind of tight, so I would expect that they would use the Ruida one should it become available. So, which if that falls into the Lightburn realm or even having something RD Works ish that'll work with it, for the fiber laser, that would be okay too, I guess. But we'll see as soon as I get some more info, and that may be what they're dealing with now is controllers. I don't know what. I just know they were going to do a little more testing before they wanted to say it was good. So that's what I'm waiting on. I paced for that. I check my email every night from China to see if I got anything that had fiber in it. So anyway, well, cool beans. It's 4, and I got one more session I need to do, one more remote session, and then hopefully I can go in there and make a cup of coffee and sit down. I got a sore throat. Hopefully it's not anything bad. So I think it's just allergies, but I probably sound a little weird if you guys are used to hearing me. Of course, I'm weird anyway, so I guess that's all right. But
don't be passing that COVID over the internet.
Yeah, tell me about it.